Hey, I'm Alex Rackle from Board Game Co, and this is game news and week in review, all of that stuff. And I have Cloudspire set up in front of me because I'm in the middle of learning it. I have a 3-month commitment to play this thing or it goes away, and apparently so does Quackalope, so I'm doing the hard work, and we'll both do it together. But timestamps, we'll talk about more at the end of the video. Timestamps and all that down below in case you want to jump around. Also, random tangent, I am kind of addicted to tops recently. You may have noticed in one or two prior videos. But basically, give me a second here to get a good spin in. You see the spin is actually pretty hard because you want to get a good, that's not a good spin either. Let's go one more time. That's good enough. Basically, I was visiting my mother in Toronto and she had a forever spin top, and I'm now kind of addicted to tops. Random thing. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into it. Starting off with the fact that Adam West, who has a blog over on Board Game Geek, he has one about talking about Kickstarter Analytics for 2021. Worth diving into if you're someone like me who cares about that. Link to that and everything we talk about down below. Then Dice Tower. Speaking of Kickstarter, Dice Tower has their Kickstarter coming next week. So if you want to go ahead and support the Dice Tower for another year, well, that'll be coming up. So we'll see how that goes. Then we have some other new stuff. We have Gaijun, Gaijun is a game from Awaken Realms Light. They're going to be launching in the second half of February. Also, the name may or may not be Gaijun. Basically, if you don't know the drama, Gaijin is potentially considered to be an offensive term. It does depend on who you ask. So, from there, they kind of eventually, they didn't really do anything for a while, but they did announce that they're going to change the name to Outsider, which I believe is what Gaijin means. But then people pushed back saying it's not an offensive term, and why are they doing that? Short version is they're going to look into it. It's one of those weird balances where you have people who will say that things are offensive, and they may be offensive. I don't know. I'm ignorant here, to be very clear. And then you have people who are like, well, you're just, cowing to nothing, and it's not an issue. Generally, when you have something like that, you do want to speak to people who are better informed, and that's what they're doing. They're going to go ahead, and you can't always make everyone happy. That part is fine, but if you've done the work, if you've done the research, if you've looked into it properly, not just yourself, but by talking to people who know, then at that point, if you don't make people happy, it's just life. You can't always make people happy. But that will be coming in the second half of February. Then we have Mind MGMT. Mind MGMT from Quackalope, not from Quackalope, from Jay Cormier and Sun Fen Ling, Off the Page Games, but Mind MGMT, there's 2 playthroughs over on Quackalope's channel with us playing the game. So if you want to check those out, by all means, I think Mind MGMT is one of the best games, the best game of 2021, if I had to grade the ones I've been playing so far. So yeah, if you want to check that out, I'm just talking about it because, I don't watch a lot of playthroughs, meaning even my own playthroughs. I timestamp them and I edit them, but I don't watch. Like if I have a playthrough on Quackalope's channel, I don't watch it. I don't have the time for that. These I watch. These I threw up in the background and watched because it's that good a game. Speaking of Quackalope's channel, you may or may not have missed it, but they had a Marvel Zombies playthrough. So if you want to check out Marvel Zombies and see for the first time how we did, you can check that out. There'll be a link to that down below. The first Marvel Zombies gameplay is officially up. I think Marvel Zombies, if I'm not mistaken, CMON also had a bit of a, more information about Marvel Zombies on Friday. I think on Friday they had more information. So you can check that out as well. I'll try to link to both of those down below. And then lastly, we have Time of Legends. Lastly, before we get to games, then we have Topic of the Week, then we have everything. But Awaken Realms, not Awaken Realms. We covered Awaken Realms already. We covered CMON already. Now the last one, we have Mythic Games. Mythic Games, who put out Time of Legends, they basically put out an update saying that they are no longer going to be doing Time of Legends. The rights to the game are passing off to, I don't remember his name, I apologize, but someone else was involved with the game. They had a whole copyright dispute at one point, and apparently it looks like behind the scenes the deal must have been that once they fulfill the game, he gets the rights to the game. That probably was what led to everything moving forward. I don't know enough about the behind the scenes stuff. I'm just guessing based on what we see so far. It is a bit of a shame because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Time of Legends was Mythic Games' first project when they started together with Monolith, or they did a project together with Monolith. I think Time of Legends was their first solo project, and it's a shame to... I'm not in any way commenting on who should have the rights to it, but just, it is a shame to see it go away, to see their first project not be in their hands any longer. Again, I'm not commenting on the rights and wrongs of the issues. I don't know enough to talk about it. It just feels bad a little bit from an outsider's perspective, not knowing the details. But either way, and also, speaking of which, you can check out Board Game Brigade. Board Game Brigade, Brian over there, he has a video. I like Mythic Games. I have complaints about some of their stuff, and I understand where Brian's coming from. Brian has a video where he goes over a whole bunch of stuff, but he is not happy with Mythic Games, and I understand it. I understand why. They have had errata issues and things like that. It's completely true. I've given them flack over in the past as well. I will continue to give them a flack over it while liking their games. I feel like some companies Awakened Realms, CMON, speaking of which, Awakened Realms, CMON, and Mythic, I feel I constantly give them flack while liking their games. So I'm part of the problem, but at the end of the day, I like what I like. And I will get a game. If I view the full package as being worthwhile, I will continue to get that full package. Others will sit there and say, but you're rewarding them and you're letting them get away with things like that. You're not wrong, but I'm also not interested in punishing myself to make a statement. If I think the full package is still worthwhile, then the full package is still worthwhile. I will take an Awakened Realms game that has a few rulebook issues if the end result is something like the Great Wall. I'm fine with that trade-off. I will take CMON, Cool Mini or Not, and some of their customer services. They are not great with customer service, and I will trade that in for the fact that I overall really like their games. I would love to see everyone be as good as they can possibly be, but also I will go for the full package in terms of when I try to make a decision as to what I want to get, what I want to play, I am looking at the full package, and I'm not going to punish myself just to make a statement. But anyways, moving on from there to game news. Game news, starting off with Pipeline Emerging Markets. Basically, this is from Capstone, the expansion to Pipeline. It's available now, so if you want an expansion to Pipeline, a game I personally don't like, well, you can check that out. Speaking of which, Capstone with Ark Nova, they are set for life on this one. That's going to be an evergreen for them. Just the way the ratings are coming through in that one, it is absolutely insane. They have an evergreen on their hands. They have multiple evergreens on their hands, but that's going to be the evergreen to rule all the evergreens. It's going to be in the top 100. I believe Tom Vassell said he expects it to be in the top 20. I haven't played it yet, but just based on seeing the mass amounts of critical feedback around the game, critical in a good way, not like critical in a bad way, I don't disagree with Tom. It will likely be in the top 100, top 20 next year. From there we have Skate Summer. Pandasaurus Games has Skate Summer coming to Kickstarter, interestingly enough, which is a surprise to me. January 18th. Not a surprise to me that they have a Kickstarter, but their past Kickstarters have usually been like big ones, and Skate Summer is coming from nowhere. Haven't heard a thing about it. I would have expected another retail release. They've knocked out a lot of these. Buru. It's called Buru? I think it's called Brew. Brew, not Brew. Brew, we have Brew, we have In the Loop, we have all these Tales from the Loop, we have all these, The Time You Killed Me. They've been having a lot of these retail releases, and now they're popping Skate Summer onto Kickstarter, January 18th. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. Then we have I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Annukia from what's it called, Dawn of the Gods. This coming to you from Simone Liciani and Danilo Sabia, I believe, from Cranio Creations. That's going to be a Kickstarter coming as well. So if you want a Kickstarter from Cranio Creations, I think the last one they did was Barrage. I'm not certain. Let's get a good spin in. Nope, it's too wild. You have to, this is copper. It's a very hard spin. That's good. It's okay. You really want to stabilize for a bit. It'll slowly get progressively better and better. If you get a really good spin, it'll get to the point where it looks like it's not moving. Anyways, and did I just spill coffee? No, I'm good. Safe. 1 second. Lastly, in game news, we have Batman Season 3. We have a date announced, Batman Season 3 from Monolith. The date is going to be March 23rd. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes peeled, because another Kickstarter. There's all these Kickstarters, so many Kickstarters. Which brings us to Topic of the Week. Topic of the Week for this week is just top 10 lists. And there will be spoilers in this, so let me explain. So, what I wanted to do is I always have these things I like shouting out, like, hey, check out this channel, check out that channel, and the week in review is usually when I do most of my shoutouts. But particularly this week, I was taking all my notes. What I do is, as the week goes on, I see a new game announcement, I get a new Kickstarter email, I see a new video, and I slowly add them to my notes, and then they go into the week in review. This week, I had like 6 or 7 different top 10 lists I wanted to talk about, and just saying, hey, check out theirs, check out his, check out hers, do all that just to see what's going on. And then I realized I had enough of them that my topic of the week was going to be top 10 lists. So, this is my top 10 list, ordered from least to most favorite. That doesn't mean the end ones are bad. It just means least to most favorite, from the ones that I have seen in the past month or so. If I haven't included a top 10 list here that I should, feel free to let me know down below. I may have seen it and not cared about it. I may have seen it and didn't have space for only 10 here, or I may not have seen it, or any of those things. But this is basically just me ranking my own top 10 lists from the ones I've recently seen, and generally why. Number 10 is going to be a bit of a catch-all going to the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower in general, if you've been paying attention, they have a lot of top 10 lists at the end of the year, and they have a lot. Some of them are better than others, but I can't give them 15 slots, so I'm just giving them 1 slot all the way at the end. The Dice Tower has a lot of top 10 lists, far more than any reasonable human being could be watching all of them. That said, it's great because you can watch the ones that appeal to you. You want to see the best surprises of the year? You can see that. You want to see the best games of 2021? You can find that. You can find a lot of top 10 lists over the Dice Tower. At this point, they're large enough that they're dividing it into like the A team and the B team. Or I think it's the A team and the Z team. Whatever it is, there are lots of top 10 lists available on Dice Tower if you want to check those out. Number 9 is going to be coming in at Tantrum House. They have 2 top 10 lists, a guys and a ladies, the ladies and the guys, whatever it is. They have 2 different ones covering all of them, just rotating around. I love the fact that you can get a ton of games in there. You're basically getting like 40 recommendations in each video, roughly a minute per game. And I like the fact, I mean, they have a whole bunch of stuff. I think the guys list appealed to be a bit more, but the women had a bunch as well. We had Cubitos, we had Coca-Cola, which doesn't get enough love in my opinion. We had After the Empire, Hadrian's Wall, just a lot of variety to go over. And this, by the way, is where I should say the spoilers part is just, I'll be mentioning 2 or 3 games from each of these lists. So if you don't want to see any of the games on this list, well, spoilers. That's your warning. No major spoilers, and I tried to avoid any number 1 picks. Tried, not a guarantee. From there we have what was next? That was number 9. Then number 8 was the Brothers Murph. The Brothers Murph, they had a top 10 list, 40 minutes long, the 2 of them going over everything. They had Cubitos, Furnace, Maglev, Metro, all phenomenal games that really resonate with me. And then they had So Clover, which really I need to play. I've been hearing great things about So Clover from anyone I talk to about it. Another party game that's going to hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully, is likely going to line up with Decrypto and Codenames and Just One as being one of those party games that really just gives you a fun little word puzzle in an innovative way that manages to stick. So Clover looks fascinating. I'll be picking up a copy as soon as I'm able to. We had Rolling Solo coming in next. Rolling Solo has, what's his name? Adam Smith? I always forget. I think it's Adam Smith. Rolling Solo, he had the best 20 solo games, a whole bunch of good choices in there. Euthia, which I have on the way, so I'm excited about that one. Merchant's Cove, which, again, in my opinion, does not get enough love. People were okay with it. I liked it. Mike from the Dice Tower really liked it, and then a lot of other people were just okay with it. And then we have Destinies as well. A whole bunch of other games in there. Solid list. I really like the way he goes into all the games and showing you footage from his videos as well, by the way, which is sadly something you don't get from my top 10 list, at least not yet. Then we have One Stop Co-op Shop, another solo channel, but this time covering the top 20 crowdfunding campaigns. So not the same exact coverage, top 20 crowdfunding campaigns. Some great games in there, including Lands of Galzir, which Quackalope just mentioned in another list recently, a video that he did with me. And then we have Paint the Roses in there, which is a game that I really enjoyed. I'm happy to see some more love for it. And Agamonia, a game that's absolutely phenomenal. Really enjoy and appreciate Agamonia. It's one that it's grown on me more and more even after I'm done with it. You see, Iridia and Agamonia came out at roughly the same time, and Iridia, I think, is easily the better game. Not even a question. But Iridia, I have this slight fear of diving back into, of the amount of stuff I have to manage and be on top of. I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot more going on there, and that does potentially add more barriers to entry. Agamonia, I feel I can just dive in. So I rated them 5 for Iridia and a 4 for Agamonia. Agamonia, I'm still going to keep it at a 4 until I continue to play it, but I think that's going to go up. The sheer accessibility, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to diving back into, well, both of them. But Agamonia, it's great to see some more love for that one. He hadn't played Iridia, so it won't be on that list. Then we had Quackalope. Quackalope has Best Games of 2021 with himself and Shira, including mine, MGMT, and Mythic Mischief. Mythic Mischief is 100% cheating, no question about that. But those are 2 of my favorite games I've played in 2021. Coincidentally, both of them are double M's. Mine, MGMT, and Mythic Mischief. I wonder if that means anything. It probably means something. It probably means I like games that have double M's in them. I wonder if there's any other games with double M's. Merchants and Marauders. Merchants and Marauders is fantastic! Wow! Okay, cool. This is a thing. Games with 2 M's are good, apparently. Good to know. Anyways, that was Quackalope's video. A lot of other good picks. In general, we play a lot of games together, so there will inherently be overlap, but that does mean that I will often think he has good taste, and also I will think he has bad taste too. From there, we have Board Game Ramblings. BoardGameRamblings had their top games of 2021. I always enjoy seeing Johannes and Sinova going, just talking about the games and comparing the notes and seeing them where they agree and disagree. They had Ark Nova and Cascadia on their list, both fantastic games. That's not true. Cascadia is a fantastic game, and I haven't played Ark Nova, but I've been seeing a lot of love for it, as we saw already. Then Before You Play just finished their top 50. They just had the number 10. I particularly enjoyed watching Before You Play series because of the fact that when I think of Before You Play, I think, okay, their top 10 games are Vitalicerda. And it's not. There are Vitalicerdas in the top 10. But it's nice to see other games like Castle Burgundy was in their top 10, which is, along with me, I really love that game. Spirit Island, absolutely fantastic. They had, what else did they have? They had Pandemic Legacy, which is a bit of a surprise. Like, you know, like Pandemic Legacy is not really a typical heavier game, but they had them in the top 10. I think Pandemic Legacy is fantastic. And Brass Birmingham, like amazing games. And then like if you go back to their earlier ones, early in the series, they have games like Hanamakoji and Calico, which you don't necessarily think of as being before you play's favorite games. But that's the nature of sometimes the type of games. I think I've seen the same thing with my top 10s, by the way, where I cover a lot of games, but I don't tend to cover as many heavy Euros. I find they take more time to cover properly. They take more plays, more energy, more getting like a group of 4 or 5 people together to really experience it at optimal player count. And so heavy Euros don't get as much coverage on this channel compared to how much I actually like them. And so sometimes you'll find those differences where like, oh, I thought Alex liked this type of game, but really he also likes that type. And before you play, I had very much had that reaction to watching their top 50, to going through it and being like, oh, you love Vital Lacerdas, but you also have other gaming tastes that aren't just heavy games. So I really enjoyed watching theirs from that stance. Jeremy Howard with Man vs. Meeple. He's number 2 on this list as far as my top 10s. Jeremy Howard, Man vs. Meeple, did a best solo games, top 10 solo games, but he did so with the community. He had a whole bunch of people just submit their best solo game of the year. So it's basically Jeremy Howard going through his top 10, and then like 50, 60 picks from a variety of other people covering their top solo game of the year. Mine was Wild Ascent, which I'm still disappointed did not make Jeremy Howard's list. I'm still disappointed about it, and he loved that game. How did it not make his list? Meanwhile, he has games like Solomon Kane in there, so that one apparently I really need to find out and play. And then lastly, and number 1 on this list, let me take a sip of coffee to give myself a moment to breathe. Lastly, and number 1 on this list, we have Tim Chun had my favorite top 10 on this list. He did a cinematic top 10. Like, he really put time, effort, and energy into his top 10. It is beautiful to watch, absolutely beautiful. Game taste-wise, he had Merchant's Cove on there as well. He also had Kemet, which is an amazing experience. So he definitely had the games that I like to see. But more importantly, it just, I mean, I don't know if more importantly is the right word. It was a beautiful work of art to watch his top 10. It's the kind of thing I wish I had the time and patience to do. I just like board games. I don't like video editing. So, like, he really appreciates it. He's, like, into, like, both sides of the world, which means it's a perfect match. For me, video editing is work, and the extra things I'm going to, like, eventually I will have stuff like B-roll and images and all that stuff, but it will be work that I put in to make the content better. It's not something that I enjoy. I like board games. I just want to play board games. But that said, as a viewer, I certainly appreciated watching his top 10. It was masterful to watch, and I hope he continues to do more of them. So Tim, if you're watching this, amazing job. But past that, moving on to week in review, all that stuff, starting off with what I played. And this one is a lighter week, at least compared to last week. Let's see. We had, just, close my things over there. So, I had a much lighter week compared to last week. Last week I had a lot of games. This week I had some games. Don't get me wrong, some games is like I still played like 15 plays or whatever it is, but it's not the same as 20 or 25 plays, which I got in last week. We have Encyclopedia. I got in a solo play of Encyclopedia. I had a few of those last week, so I don't know which ones where I cut off, but Encyclopedia, I got another solo play of that, and that's basically so I could review it. I went ahead and filmed my review, and now I just have Encyclopedia off the side, which is nice because I still like the game. I'm sure I'll have to send it off at some point. Got in a play of Anno 1800, another play of Anno 1800. A really, really solid game, still enjoying it. I played Obsession, which is great, because I haven't played Obsession in a long time. I played Obsession for the first time in... Why is my app weird? That's weird. Oh, there we go. Now it works. Okay, cool. Obsession is... I use BG stats for my rankings and whatnot, for what I played, and it was just showing that I had no players, but I clicked in it, and now there's players. But I played Obsession. It's been a long time since I played Obsession, but I got a game of it. And I also got something else later that night. No, that was Anno. The order's the reverse. I got Obsession, then Anno. Then I got Mind MGMT. I got 2 plays of Mind MGMT in on Sunday. That was actually on Saturday night. That was excellent. I love Mind MGMT. Still having fun with it. Another play of Anno 1800. Got a play of Stickum. The English version is called Stickum. It's a little trick-taking game. Did not like it at all. It reminded me why I don't like trick-taking games. I just was willing to give it a shot because I was like, I like Ghost of Christmas. Maybe I should play more trick-taking games. Well, this one is not one of them. Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Still going through that one with my daughter and, well, actually all my children. We take turns. I've been going through it with my daughter, and some plays we loop in the rest of the kids. I got to play Valeria Card Kingdom. It's been a while since I played that one. That one has really been a while. Still holds up. I'm still really enjoying Valeria Card Kingdoms. Got to play of That's Pretty Clever. Ganz schön clever. Oh, also Hadrian's Wall. Where's my play of Hadrian's Wall? I didn't log it. Okay, you see, this is the problem. I don't always log my plays. I have a play of Hadrian's Wall in here somewhere, but I got a play of Gaijun Clever. That's pretty clever. Still enjoying that one. Got a play of Ecos First Continent. Really enjoying that one. Actually, speaking of which, I will have a review up today, hopefully, on that one. But got a play of Ecos with the expansion. Basically, I played Ecos a whole bunch already, but I wanted to dive into it with the expansion, so we got 2 plays of it with the expansion. We'll talk about it more during the review. Short version is the expansion doesn't change my opinion of Ecos at all. Neither better nor worse. It's just some extra stuff. I don't think you need it at all. I like the game. We'll talk more about that. But I don't think the expansion is necessary to purchase in the slightest. Then we have Wreck Raiders. Wreck Raiders, gotten a play of that. Really enjoying that one. Another play of Ecos, which is great. Gotten a play of that. Gotten a few plays of Puzzle Strike. Puzzle Strike, the deck building game. That's going to be coming. And that's where we leave off. Like I said, not a lot of plays, all things considered. Less so than usual. Which brings us to the week in review. The week in review, all the stuff that all the videos and all those things and whatnot. Starting off with Saturday. Last Saturday we had a few reviews. We had a review for Ghosts of Christmas. Well, actually we had a review and a gameplay. We had a review for Ghosts of Christmas from Board Game Tables. Gave that one a 4 out of 5. Absolutely loving that one. Really, really enjoying Ghosts of Christmas. It is easily staying in the collection. The box size to gameplay. It might be... Is it my favorite Board Games Table game? It might be. If I had to pick a single Board Games Table game to keep, I think it would be Ghost of Christmas. I have to go through them all. I like a lot of their games, but I think Ghost of Christmas would be the one I kept if I had to keep one. Then later on Saturday, we had very late on Saturday, I actually forgot to schedule this properly, so I logged on after Shabbos, after Saturday, where I'm offline, and saw it hadn't gone up, and so I posted that video at like 8 o'clock at night. But basically, Rolling Heights gameplay. I had a Rolling Heights gameplay with my wife, going through that. Review will be closer to the Kickstarter. That was just a gameplay to show that, because I like the game, so I filmed the gameplay. From there on Sunday, I did a premiere of my final 10 games in the top 100. Did a premiere, live video, going through with everyone else. Really enjoyed that. It was a bit of a mess, though, because what you don't see behind the scenes is that we had movers in the house trying to carry a couch upstairs. And it was a real mess. And they came 9:55 in the morning. My premiere is at 10 o'clock. Which means I was dashing back and forth trying to help them because I needed help with like pushing things out of the way, and then going to the computer so I can type and say things and whatnot. So I was only half there for like the first, the whole video was like a half hour, and for the first like 25 minutes, I was only like intermittently there just trying to catch up as much as possible. Sometimes you just can't plan everything perfectly. Then, that was Sunday top 10. That was like the top 10. I will be doing a top 100 analysis video at some point. I don't know exactly when. It might be this next week. It might be the week after. But just going over the differences in my lists from year to year, things that have changed, the games that have come on, the games that have come off, stuff like that. Then on Monday we had upcoming Kickstarters Part 2, covering all the Kickstarters I hadn't covered in Part 1. Of course, I forgot multiple things. I forgot Far Cry, okay? Far Cry from Funforge. Okay, I forgot about that one. I forgot about other games. I forgot about Far Cry. I forgot about Unconscious Mind, which is a criminal Fantasia games. Like, at the end of the day, like when I hear about a Kickstarter, it goes into one of my lists. Sometimes I know about a Kickstarter and it doesn't go into my list. And then when I'm relying on the list, as I was for this, well, the list isn't accurate. So Unconscious Mind is now on my list, as is Far Cry, but too little, too late. I'm sure there's plenty others I forgot about or didn't mention. As it was, the video had like 83 games, something like that. Way too many Kickstarters coming up. There's only so much I can do in an hour. I had a comment saying, "You talk so fast, you slur your words." And I was like, that's not wrong. In general, it's something I work on or try to work on. When it comes to these lists where I'm trying to cover 83 games in under an hour, yes, the slurring shall happen. I always try to get better at it. It's a balance. It's a balance in terms of trying to cover what I need to cover and the way I naturally talk versus trying to be mindful that not everyone is following as fast as I am talking. But with that, moving on to Tuesday. We had 3 videos as usual. We had a review for QE from Board Game Tables, another one. This one was a... Did I rank it? Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. A 4 out of 5 with the potential to drop to a 2 in a second. Basically, it's a broken game that manages to work for our group. But the second it actually stops working and becomes broken, it'll be a 2 out of 5 and out of my collection. For right now, it's a 4 to 5. I think it's masterful. I think it's incredible. Also, I think it's totally broken. So check out that review if you haven't seen it already. It is very different than my usual reviews. Then later on Tuesday, we had Wreck Raiders, a review of Wreck Raiders. This is one that, again, always have the challenge with children's games. For me, as a children's game, 3.5. As a children's game, it's a 4 to 5. As an adult-themed game, or whatever it is, if I'm playing with a game group, a 3 or 3.5. Good, but not great. For kids, I think it's great. A solid KTPG game. Really enjoyed that one. I did that one with Yoda, with my son. Then later, we had for his first video on the channel. I think so, yeah, because I have 4 children. One is 2, no videos. One of them is Tavi, who's been in Ankh unboxing. Ricky is the one you see the most, and Yoda hasn't had a video on the channel yet, so I gave him one. From there, we had, later on Tuesday, we had a review for Pierre. Sadly, this one didn't work for me. It was actually the topic of the week last week to a degree. Pierre is a game that I think is good. I think it's a well-designed game, but it has elements and mechanics that don't make it as enjoyable for me, so I liked it, but I did not love it. That's a 3 out of 5 for me. One I will not be backing, unfortunately, or fortunately. It's always weird, because I say unfortunately, because I'm like, I feel like I should like the games I cover, but the practical reality is it's okay if I don't back and like everything. From there, Wednesday. Wednesday was top 10 games that will make our top 100, or it depends on how you do it. I did a collaboration video with Quackalope. I did a video over on his channel. He did a video over on my channel. Both of them were together, basically, covering 10 games. His video was 10 games that will challenge your top 20, and mine was 10 games that will be in my top 100. No guarantees in either case, both just of us projecting games we've covered, prototypes specifically, by the way, prototypes we've played that we think, or in the case of him, he didn't play one of them, which is cheating, but either way, the idea being, we play a lot of games, and some of them are really, really good. And I think they'll be in my top 100 next year. No guarantees. I have to get them. I have to play them. I have to see if they hold up. Sometimes things change from prototype to end game. It does happen. But either way, a fun little video just covering stuff that are worth being excited about, maybe. It's always that balance of being part of the hype train of board games versus sometimes I'm just excited about games. There are some phenomenal games on this list. We ended up aligning on most of them. Our list had like 6 out of 10 were crossovers. Okay, we both compiled the list separately. 6 out of 10 were crossovers. So that should tell you that they were not that they were good games, but at least that we share the same opinion of the good games for the most part. That was Wednesday. Thursday, speaking of the reverse of the hype side, was not really the reverse of the hype side. Thursday was why you should get rid of games. Just talking about how to keep a lean collection and or trade and or sell and or purge games you aren't playing. It's a continuation of multiple videos I've done over the years, starting off with keeping a lean game collection way back in the day, one of my earliest videos that did well. I rotate games a lot, and I'm sure you know that if you watch the channel. You see my games leaving the collection and all that. And I believe in the concept of rotating games. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want, but there's multiple reasons that I go through in this video as to why it often is a good thing. And again, if none of those reasons apply to you, then fine. Don't rotate your games. Don't rotate your collection. But I think that it doesn't matter how much you like a game. If you aren't playing games and you're not collecting for collecting's sake, then maybe you should consider selling or trading. And I go into that in this video quite in depth. From there, speaking of getting rid of games, I have Friday, games leaving the collection. This was one of the largest purges, it was the largest purge I've had in a long time. Games leaving the collection, lots of notable games in there, many games that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Seven Wonders Architects, it's gone. I enjoyed Wild Space, it's gone. I have to enjoy you enough to pull you compared to other games. I like both of those games, I will happily play both those games. Dale of Merchants, gone. I'll always pick Dominion over Dale of Merchants, doesn't matter how much I like Dale of Merchants. And then Chaos in the Old World. Not in my top 100. It's one of the games that fell out of last year's top 100. It was like 20 last year, something like that. It's gone. It's gone, gone, gone. We'll talk about that more in case you missed that video. Which brings us to today. Today we have 2 videos going up, hopefully, as usual. Not as usual, but I have not filmed either of these, so if there's a backup video in place, you know I didn't get them filmed in time, but hopefully I'll get them filmed in time. We have a review for Ecos and Expansion, Ecos First Continent from AEG and Expansion, and then a review for Puzzle Strike. Hopefully, on both counts. And then next week I'll have a few things going up. I will probably have a PAX Unplugged recap, just going over my experience at PAX Unplugged. I wanted to do it last week, I just didn't have time in terms of the video schedule. Also, last year in review. It's a regular series I do once a month where I look at last year a month ago and see how things are changing, staying the same as far as the games I reviewed or played. And so we'll have that going up this week, probably, maybe, we'll see. And then, finally, the games on the table. We have Ultree from Studio H. I've been hearing mixed things about this one. I was going to say good things, but I know Jeremy Howard has not been loving it. Until Jeremy Howard, I've been hearing good things. I plan to dive into Ultree. It's playable. It's a cooperative game, story building, playable both solo and not solo. So I'm going to be de-shrinking this and hopefully playing it. We shall see. I have Cloudspire, which as you can see is set up on the table, set up for solo play. I am finished the rulebook and I'm about to dive into the solo scenarios, which is like another 4 pages of rules to figure out how to play this solo. So yay, I know how to play Cloudspire with another human being. Another human being is not here, Well, they are technically. There's a bunch of them upstairs, but none of them are playing Cloudspire with me, so solo time. Let's go ahead and read this as soon as I'm done filming this video. And then lastly, Core Request, which is in shrink because I will be covering this with my daughter. I'll be playing this with my daughter and going through it, not to cover it. Well, obviously I'm playing it. I'll be unboxing it with my daughter. Ricky and I will have an unboxing video of Core Quest, so it's nicely in shrink for now. She has a, one of the monsters in Core Quest is drawn from her. There's a nice app, nice stuff. Her first video, was it her first video? Her first video was Creature Comforts. One of her first videos was Core Quest, so we are very excited to be covering this one. Very excited to see this become a reality and all of that. And that is basically it. Those are the games on the table that I hope to be playing this week in one shape or another. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Thanks for being here, and as always, have a good one. Random tangent. I just finished watching Don't Look Up, like today. Phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. Didn't appreciate the heavy lean on politics in it, but I understand it kind of builds the foundation for the movie, so like it was a little bit too political for my taste, but the movie itself, absolutely amazing. Highly recommend it. Not because it's just amazing, just because it's sadly believable. So depressing in a really hilarious way. Anyways, just worth saying, because why not? We'll talk later.